I do actually say stuff like, if you would just phone me and like tell me like, okay, this is the problem. I don't sugarcoat it. Just be, and then they still do it. It's like, rah.
Yeah.
Just tell me the way it is, because I rather it.
So Tyler has autism, and because of that, have you felt like you've had to do a lot of advocating for him over the years?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of times, and sometimes it's appreciated, and sometimes it's not. So I mean, and I see like, okay, where he's coming from and where they're coming from. And I've had to learn a lot, because my way is not always the right way, and I always think my way is the right way.
Yeah.
So
that's why you do it that way, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
I know. And then they think it's that way. Well, yeah, I've definitely had to advocate for him a lot, make sure that. But a lot of the times, I've had certain teachers in the past that will advocate for him, and I really like that. Like, I had a teacher last year that really advocated for him with kids in his class, because they actually saw that what the kids were doing to him was why he was reacting the way he was reacting. And she actually saw that, you know what I mean? And then the teacher at the beginning of this year said, it's all Tyler. And then now this teacher's going, he's fine, he's great. And there's so many excuses for him. But last year was probably the best teacher he's ever had.
Oh, really?
Just because she's like, Tyler did this because this and this and this. And then, or Tyler did this and they did this back to him. Like, she understood that there was like a process of how people work. It's not just Tyler does this.
Yeah.
Or those kids did that. There's always like two sides to everything, right? So I always liked seeing that. And that's where I'm talking about, like, just be straight with me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've come across a few different types of
That sounds like a really big strength in your personality, though, right? Of, being able to tell people, especially when you have stuff at stake, right? When you're letting people know what you need for Tyler, his services could be at stake, or any kind of school supports could be at stake if you.
That one's a struggle, the school supports, because I find that they lack a lot of the ability to get them or wanting to help him get further. Like, I asked at the beginning of the year that he gets what's that test called? Psych ed. A psych eval.
Yeah.
And no, he doesn't need it. I'm like, okay, but he might need it. Well, no, it's not going to help him. I'm like, but he might need it. So why are you not helping him? And this is not the teachers. This is, and the teachers are going, like, how old is he now? He's 10. He's in grade 4. So 5 years, they're like, he needs a psych ed. He needs a psych ed. He might have, what is that called, where they read dyslexia. Okay,
Right.
so, and I'm like, okay, well, I got to deal with one problem before I can get on to the next one, so I'm not going to worry about it until, and they're like, well, pay your $6,000 and go get it done. It's like, it's so easy, right? Yeah, but they're like, well, we can't do it. I'm like, oh my goodness. So how are we helping him? Like, they give him, how are you helping him? But then I get no answer after, when I'm aggressive like that. And it's like, people don't want you to be aggressive. They want you to sugarcoat it.
That's a really big piece, though, right? To ask somebody blankly, how are you helping him? That's something Tyler would probably ask himself if he were able to. And that's,
Oh, totally. And I mean, a teacher definitely makes a difference in how they're helping him, because first part of the year he had one teacher, then really negative one, which was not working. Like, he was very and then now he's got a teacher that I feel is helping him. She's not negative at all. She's on the positive side, but I'm hoping that he seems to be dealing with issues a lot better having her. So I'm kind of just letting that one go, even though I'm kind of like, just get to the point already.
Picking your battles with that,
I
guess.
Yeah. I try and keep my mouth quiet with that one, because she's super sweet. So I just don't want to hurt her feelings, because that one's like, just tell me what's going on. But she's pretty good about it. So,
Great.
Yeah.
So on a 1 to 10 scale, 1 being not at all, 10 being really helpful, like, how supported do you think Tyler is at school?
I would say about a 5, 6 maybe.
Is that an improvement?
Yeah.
Like, that would be
before
one of your higher numbers that you've had.
Yeah. And see, he was in for the first 3 years he had, like, that program was specifically designed for kids with special needs, and he needed it, but at some point we outgrew that. Like, it was just not enough for him anymore. He needed to be in the world of normalcy, really. Like, he needed to be with kids that were his own age and stuff, so he could get that social aspect out in the real world, right? So, yeah.
I think that's right about when we met.
Yeah,
was
yeah,
it?
it was
Right
pretty
about
much.
there?
Yeah. Because then he started playing lacrosse, because, well, he played the year before, but that was just a disaster anyway. Because some people don't understand. Like, he's just one of those kids that needs firm, clear directions. And then some people get that right away, and then some people don't. So, you know, the first coach was not one of those coaches that was like, he needs to do this. Or, you know.
It's really great that you are able to know that about your son so that you can articulate that.
I struggle with it for some people because they're too upbeat and positive, and I'm going, I don't know if that's going to work, but we will see.
So you're open to
I'm trying.
suggestions or options,
with a few, I'm like, okay, we're just gonna have to see. You know, it's gonna be a struggle because we're so like military type, like we're just so.
Well, you're doing what works.
Exactly,
guys,
and I'm
right?
like looking at everybody else, and I'm going, okay, well maybe there's another way, and that's weird for me.
It's great that you're open to other ways, though.
Now.
Yeah, but that's okay. Sometimes it takes time. It's trial and error for you too, right?
Yes. And that's where this real struggle is I'm having a hard time with that.
So what would a 10 look like for him in terms of support at school?
I would say that they could actually get him to read would be nice, you know, because he's in grade 4. And it's just a little bit slower than I would like because his learning is suffering so hard. You know, they did support him on moving him away from kids that were really negative, and he's got a better outlook. So, you know, it's starting to kind of, it's long. He's been a long journey, that one. He's doing stuff that kids in grade 2 do now, in grade 4, almost grade 5. And I'm going, when's the ball going to drop? When are we going to, you know, have another issue? Because it will happen. I have no doubt in my mind it will. I'm not like, I know that sounds really bad, but I'm not like delusional either in thinking that. Because every time he starts getting good, something changes and nothing goes good after that. So it gets very frustrating because next year he's going to have a different teacher.
That causes some feelings for you.
Anxiety, stress,
right.
Yep.
Right.
And I'm just like, okay, walk away, just let it happen, and we'll just deal with it when it comes.
Well, you've dealt with a variety of teachers, it sounds like. So, you know, chances are pretty good you'll know how to handle it and what to do, whatever that looks like.
Yeah. I'm learning.
Your experience,
I'm
I would
learning.
say, with teachers at this point.
And being firm and direct is like the easiest way, and not beating around the bush is, you know, like just get right to the point. Let's not worry about all this other stuff. Let's just do this, right? That's how I work.
Yeah.
Right? And then they'd kind of go, well, what do you mean?
Well, and that's
Pretty,
how you're
very
resisting.
direct,
You're resisting the sort of, you know, educational box that every kid is supposed to go in. That's how you're resisting that, you know, and that's a big deal. It's not easy to do on your own.
No.
Especially.
No, it's definitely, and I do it on my own. Even though my husband's there, he doesn't know how to handle it. It drives me like I'm having to teach him all the time how to handle. He's like, well, I'm just going to go blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you can't. It's going okay for him. So we're going to let it be for him. And I've had to, because I used to think like him, and now I've had to completely change my thought process because it's the right way, I guess, according to, you know. Anyways, so I deal with all that. It's just easier.
I wonder how much you're learning from sort of teaching your husband how to deal with it too. Like through teaching, are you learning more about how to handle it yourself? Sometimes when people explain something to someone else, it's like it kind of
it is, and it's always in
sense.
everything. Even like with lacrosse, for example, with our son, I'm just like, we just have to just let him go, be with other people. He's got to, you know, detach from you and how you do things with him, and let him learn by. And he's like, I'm like, you have to, because he's happy. So let it just be what it is. Right?
You sound like you are really knowledgeable on what Tyler needs.
Oh gosh, I know.
Like you've really spent
and I
some
don't ever
time.
think that I do. I'm just like, I look at it and I go, I really don't know what I'm doing.
But to be able to step back for a minute and look at what he needs as opposed to in the moment reactive, that's not easy either. And that comes with experience, and that comes with knowing your kid.
That's the struggling part, is when he gets in, I would say, repetitive, like bouncing a ball against the wall.
Yeah.
You're like, stop. Okay, stop. Okay, stop. So my patience gets really dwindled down, because I'm like, I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm like, you're now at my patience level, and I have to walk away.
Is that how you regain yourself? As you
no, but I do.
Yeah.
I just so I don't, like get okay, just stop. But he's at least now getting to the point where he's starting to respect the boundaries of no, and I don't want that happening right now. It just takes a lot to get, he's not flipping out anymore like he used to. Because if I would say no, he would spaz, right? So, and I mean, I know that's what his teachers struggle with some things too, excuse me. And sometimes they see it. And I'm pretty sure the teacher's not telling me. She, in a little bit here, and I'm like, I know what this looks like. Just tell me what's going on. Mm-hmm. It's okay, it's not a big... I'm like, it is a big deal when it comes to him because I know how aggressive and explosive he can be. So yes, it could be a huge disaster for you if you don't have the right tools. And if I can't help you, or if you're not going to tell me, then I don't want you calling me in the middle of the day saying, come get him, because you have to let me teach you too, because I've had to deal with it for 10 years on my own, figuring it out, reading books, that kind of stuff.
And you are an expert on your child. I mean, I have 5 kids, and I always tell people, they're like, oh, you must know everything about kids. I said, not your kid and not that kid. I know my kids. Yeah. You are the one in that expert position, and there's a lot of reliance on the medical model to tell you what's going on with your kid and how to respond and how to react and how to change it, but you live it. And then I've
tested and tried everything. They're like, you hear the olds go, just spank them. Okay. No, that don't work. Yeah. Well, then put him in the corner. Well, if I wanted to hold him there, sure. Okay, that's not going to work. Try taking things away. Well, if I want holes in my wall, tried it. They're like, and nobody can give me any information, and it sucks because there's certain people that I know have like good advice. Like, I've done it, and I'm like, I've tried it, and it just, now the only one that's working right now, I don't know what is working right now, to be honest with you, but it's working. So I'm just like, ignoring right now is kind of what I know.
Well, but maybe it is something that maybe it's a shift in both of you together, like the way you guys are dancing with each other.
Oh, possibly, he's very perceptive. That's the thing.
Yes, he is. He is.
I'm like, and he thinks that he's your equal, and that drives me crazy because it's like you're a kid, So if I say, okay, for example, even this morning, I'm like, if you don't stop bouncing that ball because I got a headache, just stop. Like, well, however I worded it, like, you need to stop, or whatever I said. I'm like, because I got a headache, I just need like 5 minutes. Just, can you stop? Doink, doink, doink. And I'm like, okay. And this ball thing is driving me crazy lately. Like, I can't handle it. And he's like, I'm like, okay, just stop. And and you get to the point, you're like, okay, if you don't stop, you're not going to lacrosse. And if you still can't stop, you're not going to the birthday party. And then he's like, well, if you don't stop that, then you can't leave the house either. And I'm like,
he's very smart.
And I'm like, you can't use that on me, a child. That's not going to work. But he thinks that we're like equals. And he looks at everybody like he's equals. So now I kind of go, when I'm thinking about other people asking me for my advice, I'm like, if you treat him with respect, he will give you respect back. So I said, he's very much your equal. I've had to have this conversation at least 3 times this week. The lacrosse coach, one, the teacher, because he was on, and then I'm like, my husband too. Like, if you don't give him respect, he's not going to give it back to you. That's it.
Totally.
And I'm just like, it's like I did something right.
It's great that you're able to say that, because I have a son as well that needs sometimes a bit of a lead-in, I guess, to who he is with people, and it's not always an easy conversation to have with people. You don't want to come on as aggressive or too strong, or maybe give them a reputation before they get there, and maybe they don't do these things, and now you're going, oh, well, he usually does, or whatever, or at least, give your kid a chance to be who he is without you going in first and letting people know. And then, so that's, that can be a hard balance.
It is a hard balance. And my husband's really like, he doesn't like people just knowing autistic Tyler first. Right. And I agree with him on that one, because he's high functioning. He can handle life. But